First tonight at 11, a Dayton man is in custody after sharing a tweet threatening to kill 30,000 people.
That's not what happened. Really doing their best to avoid the specifics, aren't we?
This morning by the FBI and appeared in court this afternoon. 2 News reporter Evan Bales is live in the newsroom after talking with some neighbors about what happened. Evan?
Brooke, Jack Hanna is facing 5 years in prison for a tweet put out on X yesterday, and he's charged with making an interstate communication with a threat to injure. The FBI showed up this morning after that tweet caught their attention.
He called me and said, "You won't believe it, but the police are out here."
This is the scene that greeted Scott Michael Hanna's neighbors. Federal agents surrounding his home shouting for him to surrender himself to the police. All of this stemmed from a racially charged tweet, with Hanna claiming he was going to gather a mob and kill thousands of black people, saying they were...
Exactly. I'm glad the narrator is at least specific. Exactly. I'm glad the narrator is at least on point. These reporters called this what?
30-year-old Scott Michael Hanna was arrested.
Man is in custody after sharing a tweet threatening to kill 30,000 people.
People? That's not what he said. So here it is. This Cletus Cassidy Chucky doll looking fool. It's an interesting task just trying to find a picture of this guy, and honestly, if you look at him, you can kind of see why. They were just trying to spare him from being roasted. So according to the news, this is the picture that they're all going with.
And it landed him here in federal court. Our cameras are not allowed in federal court, but I was inside for the hearing. Scott Hanna is charged with 1 count of making an interstate threat.
What a loser.
I think I've seen that hairstyle before.
I know they told you to mind your distance.
Yeah, I know I had seen that ridiculous hairstyle somewhere before. So this guy, Scott Michael Hanna, according to the FBI, he lives in Dayton, Ohio. So he was charged with making interstate communication with a threat to injure. Not just injure. I'm sorry, that's a massive understatement. To be specific, yeah, he wanted to commit murder to 30,000 black people. Do you understand what kind of task that would be? We've all heard the joke from Cedric the Entertainer that when we see one person running, we all start to run. So Scott Michael Hanna, 30 years old, allegedly posted on X July 31st saying that he was organizing mobs to kill people in Cincinnati. Post further states he was aiming to kill 30,000 by Sunday. Sundays? So is he looking to go into churches? The FBI put out a statement saying the FBI aggressively investigates those who threaten our communities with violence, and that according to charging documents, the Cincinnati Police Department reported the post to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force. The FBI was able to then trace the post to Hanna.
This is the scene that greeted Scott Michael Hanna's neighbors. Federal agents surrounding his home shouting for him to surrender himself to the police. All of this stemmed from a racially charged tweet, with Hanna claiming he was going to gather a mob and kill thousands of black people, saying they were going to fill the morgues and by Sunday have killed 30,000. Cincinnati police reported the post to the FBI, who reached out to local law enforcement, saying Hanna had a history with them. In a prior incident in September of 2024, Hanna used a sword to strike a woman in the neck, resulting in serious injury and what police called a partial decapitation. When approached by officers, he became irate, yelling and calling one of them a racial slur. On Friday, the FBI released a statement saying in part, quote, "The FBI aggressively investigates those who threaten our communities with violence. Threats like this impact..."
Yeah, I already read that part, but why is this man out on the street if he tried to decapitate someone with a sword?
"To the entire community and have serious consequences," end quote. Neighbors I spoke with said it's scary what happened and they hope Hanna can get the help he needs. Another neighbor who has lived here for years says the police have been to Hanna's unit 3 times in the last year.
I'm not surprised based on the unit and based on just like the recent history, but you know, one bad seed doesn't make the whole neighborhood terrible, you know.
Not enter a plea in court today and is scheduled to appear next on August 13th for a preliminary hearing. Live in the newsroom, Evan Bales, 2 News.
So let's couple all of that with the story that I just read today, but this one comes out of Texas. So the headline says, that's pretty scary. A Texas white supremacist busted for plotting deadly racist attack using stockpile of weapons enough to wipe out a neighborhood. So in regards to this story, he had 2 major targets, blacks and Jews.
Why would you do that?
The story says authorities with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office say 39-year-old Nathan James Henderson was taken into custody on July 12th after they received a credible tip about threats of massive violence and possession of illegal explosive components. And just in case anyone thinks this is an exaggeration, this is one of the pictures that was taken inside of his house. On the left side, all you see is a stockpile of grenades. So when they did a search, investigators, what they actually found was multiple firearms and ammunition, notebooks containing extremist ideology and vague plans to disrupt public venues, 24 grenades with corresponding striker mechanisms, a homemade igniter with remote detonation capability, and 100 metal cylinders believed to be intended for manufacturing blasting caps. In short, he just wanted to cause destruction. So on July 4th, his cousin actually paid him a visit, and during the visit, Henderson began making alarming and extremist threats to the Jewish and black community. Now, it's also being alleged that he described himself as a white supremacist and a Nazi, and they say he even expressed admiration for Luigi Mangione.
What?
Now, in all honesty, that one was a little bit puzzling because what does Luigi Mangione's motivation have to do with the black community? But in all actuality, this is probably someone that's been spending a lot of time on X. If you've been on X within the last couple of years, then you know some of these guys sit there and just have this reaffirming message pumped into their brains telling them that everything they know, everything they believe in, everything they love is just being taken away from them from this imaginary boogeyman that we cannot find yet. And so some of them, the way they look at it is, the reason you don't have a relationship is because of that colored guy right there. The reason you don't have a good job is because of that colored guy right there. The reason the housing market has gone up is because of that colored person over there. The reason that you can't afford food, the reason you can't afford gas, because of that colored person over there. It has nothing to do, you know what this reminds me of? This old picture. If you've never ever seen this picture, take a very good look. You have one cookie, but the man with all the cookies is telling you that the person with no cookies is trying to take your cookie.
I take on you!
And so some of them, they see that and they become militarized and they want to join a group. And then it escalates to this. Fortunately, the police stopped it twice and in less than a month.
Well, that's a start.
All day, these guys are just inundated with these messages telling them that the reason that everything is bad in their life has nothing to do with you. It's because of those people over there. And so you hear that message long enough and some of them snap and they want to do something about it. But that's just my thoughts. Whatever your thoughts are, leave them in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like and I will see you again on the next one. Peace, y'all.